Hello and welcome back to the FPL Tom YouTube channel. In today's video we're going to be going through my first draft ahead of the new game being out. It's finally here, ladies and gentlemen. The 2023-24 FPL season is right here and this is the first draft and I'm going to show it to you in today's video. If you do enjoy the content that you see on the channel, please be sure to like, comment and subscribe, as I do answer every single question down in the comment section below. And we're trying to hit 1,500 subs here on the channel, and it would be absolutely amazing if we could do it before a ball is kicked this season. But that's enough waffle from me, ladies and gentlemen. I know you're absolutely gagging to see this team, so let's dive straight in to my game week 1 first draft. And starting off today's video, we are going to start with our defence. Of course, in goal, I have gone for Aaron Ramsdale. Arsenal have a really good set of opening fixtures, but in game week 4, where they do take on Manchester United. But on the bench, as you can see, I do have Johnson from Crystal Palace. And during that game week, they play Wolves at home, so it's an easy slot in, slot out. And they kind of rotate quite nicely throughout the season as well. But Ramsdale, very solid keeper, 6th highest scoring goalkeeper in the game last year. Nottingham Forest at home as well in game week 1. You do expect Arsenal to kind of keep a clean sheet. The reason I've gone with him as well over players like White, Saliba, Gabriel and Timber, who's coming in now, is mainly down to the fact that there is so many players back there. They do have European football as well, and they're a little bit more pricey this year. No 4.5 million Ben White, he's 5.5 now. I'd rather just go for Ramsdale, save that extra 0.5 million. There aren't too many other good kind of goalkeeper options that I'd be like absolutely gagging for. I think Martinez is the other kind of goalkeeper that I would like to pair nicely with Johnson, but you know, we've gone with Ramsdale to take advantage of those good Arsenal fixtures and the good defence that they are as well. Moving into the back line, we do have Estupinian, an amazing 3 fixtures for Brighton, then 2 tough ones, then they kind of resume back to good. But this guy was a standout performer last season, wasn't he, ladies and gentlemen? In his first season in the Premier League, was absolutely amazing. 1 goal, 7 assists, Luton at home on the first day of the season. And what could make this man even more spicy, ladies and gentlemen, is the fact that he could be on penalties. Obviously, McAllister has now left. He was the key penalty taker for them. And there isn't kind of a second in command. You've got Pascal Gross, who potentially could take them, but Estupinian has been taking them for Ecuador on international duty, scored against Australia with a penalty. So if he can take penalties, 5 million, attacking returns full as well. Wow, what an asset this man could be. Next player that we're going to talk about is John Stones. City have really good fixtures to start the season, so we do want to try and get as many City players in our team as possible. John Stones I've gone for is the fact that he is playing this new midfield role. It doesn't mean he's getting like loads more creativity, but he is a little bit further forward. So, you know, there's going to be potential for things to happen. Maybe a stray shot on the edge of the box, something like that. A little bit more attacking threat as well. Obviously, City, I read today, are trying to sign another midfielder, so that could potentially dampen his impact. But for 5.5 million to get one of the best defenders in one of the best defences, and he's not even playing in defence, he's playing in midfield, it's just, you know, bit of a no-brainer for me. Makes sense, so we have gone with John Stones. The next player, another player playing out of position, and it is Trent Alexander-Arnold. There we go, eventually get it out. He is now at 8 million. Not the best fixture for the opening game week, Chelsea away. 2 goals, 8 assists last season for him. But I think if he's going to be playing in that midfield role, that will massively increase, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, as well, with this new price point, a lot of people are like, oh, do I go for him? Yeah, you've got to go for him. If he's playing in that midfield role, he is going to absolutely explode in terms of attacking returns and getting his clean sheets as well. Could be an amazing asset. And the final player that we are going to talk about in the defence is Pedro Porro. Now, Spurs have a difficult opening 2 fixtures, not the easiest fixtures, but after that have a really nice 3 fixture kind of spell, and then tough, and then good again. Pedro Porro is a player that I have kind of had my eye on since last season. 3 goals, 3 assists for him in 15 games. Only joined in January, had a dismal debut against Leicester as well. Like, I remember Paul Merson like absolutely slandering him on Soccer Saturday, but he's massively recovered. Obviously going to be playing in a new system, so we're going to kind of have to see how that one works out. Maybe he's one that you don't go with from the start, but eventually look to bring in. But at 5 million for a player who's got so much attacking potential, I think it is another real no-brainer. That was the defense of the team. Let's move on to our midfields and forwards. Bruno Fernandes is the first player that we do have in midfield. They've priced him ridiculously cheap this year, ladies and gentlemen. 8.5 million for a player who is so good at picking up attacking returns. Last season, wasn't the greatest. 8 goals, 9 assists for him. Not putting up like world beater numbers, but had some really good underlying data to go with that. So if he could convert a few more of his opportunities, he could be honestly absolutely flying as well. On penalties as well, which is a massive asset in this game. We saw that throughout the whole of last season. Players like McAllister, Tony, Zaha at times around the Christmas period. When these players got the penalties and scored them, it massively helped out. And Bruno is one of those players, playing for a top team as well at 8.5 million. This is just a real no-brainer for me. Absolute gem. Very happy to have Bruno Fernandes in here. The next player we are going to talk about is Bukayo Saka. Again, ridiculous value in FPL this year. 8.5 million for Saka. Like we said with Ramsdale, really good fixtures for Arsenal to start the season. Last season for him, 14 goals, 12 assists. Another player on penalties as well. Yes, Arsenal do have a lot more fixtures this season with Champions League coming into play. They also have signed some more forward players as well. Kai Havertz joining the team, you know, Reece Nelson, Emile Smith-Rowe, Trossard. There is a lot of competition for places in this side, but I do feel like Saka and potentially Odegaard are the two most nailed, down to captaincy and down to their overall individual kind of ability within the side. The next player that we're going to talk about is Gabriel Martinelli. 15 goals, 9 assists for him. The real breakout season for him. They've priced him at 8 million. I did originally have in my mock draft Saka and Odegaard because I was like, these two are going to be the most nailed. But we've gone for Martinelli. A little bit of spice at 8 million. He's kind of you know, tempted me in. He drew me in. And I've taken the bait. I've taken the bait, ladies and gentlemen. But for the opening kind of free fixtures, I think I would go for Martinelli. And then potentially maybe to look around, because there are so many good midfielders around that 7 to 8.5 million mark. You know, you're speaking like Maddison. After that point, Spurs obviously have their 3 good fixtures. So you could easily move him on to Maddison. That would make complete sense as well, because I imagine he's going to do absolutely fantastically in a Postecoglou system. So yeah, I think Martinelli is a good placeholder to have, because there's so many top talented players around that price point that if maybe Martinelli isn't cooking, or the fact that their fixtures do switch, or he's not seeing out full games, then there's so many other good kind of players at that price point who have just moved clubs or potentially don't have the greatest opening 2 fixtures, then we can easily switch to them. So I do like Martinelli as kind of this placeholder vibe that we're going for. And finishing up our midfield is Matoma. 7 goals, 9 assists. Like we said with Estupiñán, 3 good opening fixtures. And again, I'm already forward planning. I'm already thinking, what's the next move? Because, you know, this is how you win FPL leagues. You've got to be thinking, right, I'm not looking at game week 1. I'm looking like 5-6 weeks down the line. That is how you win it, ladies and gentlemen. You know, you're not getting this advice anywhere else. You probably are. But yeah, Matoma, the reason I've gone for him, you know, he's a fantastic player. Still could deliver so much more. He's such a frustrating player to watch because you know he's got so much more potential in the locker. And like I said with the forward planning, we've got that switch, and I've outlined Eze as Palace have a really good fixture run after kind of game week 4, both at the 6.5 million price point. So that would be a nice little switch around with them two. So that was the midfield within the side. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments section below. And let's move on to our 2 forwards and our bench. And completing our side, of course it was going to be this man, Erling Haaland. Absolute incredible player, isn't he? Like, I don't think I need to say too much in this. He's going to be in absolutely everybody's team at the start of the game. Probably going to be about 90% ownership, even though the fact they've put him up to 14 million. Still got to have him. He's going to be the captain for most weeks as well, especially with this early kind of really good fixture run that Manchester City do have as well. Like I said, he's just unreal. I don't think there's any point me trying to convince you to even put Haaland in your team, so we're going to move on to the next player, and that is Evan Ferguson. Breakout season for him last year, 6 goals, 2 assists. I like the way De Zerbi managed his minutes, not in terms of FPL, but in terms of a player development kind of way. You don't want to just throw him in and kind of let him get fatigued, let him kind of drag out, go on long spells where he's not scoring. I think they really managed his minutes well. This season will be the big question, whether or not he's going to be the starting striker and whether he's not, he's going to take his game up to that next level. 6 million for him could be an absolute bargain if he can secure that kind of striker spot within the team. There is a lot of competition. Obviously, Pedro Neto's joined. Undav kind of kicked into gear towards the end, but he was kind of playing in that 10 role. And then obviously you have that guy Welbs as well, just kicking about. He'll obviously get himself some game time as well. So Evan Ferguson is a player that I really do like the fixture as well in game week 1 and game week 2 and game week 3 for Brighton. But there are a lot of other good forward options. So I do think he is one that I'm he's probably the most likely to come out of this team over the next few game weeks, but we'll see how Brighton get on in pre-season, see what kind of lineup they are rocking, and whether or not we do go for Evan Ferguson. But I do think he's a great pick at 6 million. Let's have a quick run through of the bench before we finish up in today's video. We've spoke about Johnson, obviously rotating quite nicely with Aaron Ramsdale, especially in game week 4 when they do take on Arsenal and he has Wolves at home. Again, question marks about whether or not he did enough at the end of last season. Obviously Roy's staying on and he was Roy's first choice keeper after Gaeta got injured. Whether or not we will see a little bit of a switch, maybe Gaeta goes back, maybe Johnson keeps his place, that's again another one in pre-season. But there are so many good goalkeepers at the 4.5 million mark that we potentially could look to replace him with. Next is Bell. Obviously this was kind of the one that a lot of people spotted around the price releases. He did play 40 plus games in the Championship last year at wingback. So again, 4 million defender, going to be playing games, happy days. Obviously, I outlined Braithwaite, whatever, from Everton, obviously playing at PSV last season. I still do think he'll start games because Everton have absolutely no money to go and sign backup centre-backs, and he's at a very, very good level. I think he'll be a shock to most people. The next player is Mbeumo. Obviously, again, had that positional change. He is going to be the main man for Brentford. They do have good fixtures after game week 1. As well with him, he's potentially going to be on penalties with Ivan Toney suspended. So that is just happy days. You know I'm always looking for people that take penalties because it's such a crucial asset within the game. Easy kind of scoring matrix that you can just, you know, piggyback off. I called them last season. What did I call them? It was like the key players. That doesn't sound right. I can't remember. I need to go watch some of my content from last year, what I called them. But yeah, again, he could fit in that mould because he's going to be on penalties. He's going to be leading the line for Brentford, getting lots of starts with good fixtures at the start of the season. And the final player is a 4.5 million forward that I've outlined, and it is Ellis Sims. Now, the reason I've gone for him is the fact that Everton are rejecting £4 million bids from Ipswich. And I don't think you're going to be rejecting that kind of money for a player that you kind of see as someone who's potentially going to be important, because for Ellis Sims, he's probably looking at that going, I could play week in, week out in the Championship, so maybe potentially he could push for that move. But Everton maybe is saying to him, look, we're going to play you, you know, off the bench, couple game weeks, because you've got Dominic Calvert-Lewin there, who is very, very injury prone, isn't he? Like, the man can't stay fit for more than 2 games in a row, so is he going to be able to stay fit? Probably not again. Then you look at their other options, Morpie, yeah, less said the better about him. And then, you know, you're starting to think, okay, he's probably going to start a lot of games during that period where there's injuries. Everton as well financially are just a bit of a mess at the moment. Doesn't look like they have any real money to go and reinvest in the squad, but we'll kind of see what happens with their transfer window over the next few weeks, and I definitely think that'll determine whether or not Ellis Sims does stay in my squad. That was my first draft for game week 1. Let me know what you think of it down in the comments section below, and if you have any questions about your draft, do leave them in the comments as I will answer them all there. Thank you very much for watching and enjoy the rest of your day.